now, and the initial picks and bats are coming in.
I'm glad you touched upon that, Mika, because she was also a phenomenal support player. And what the Jets has backed it up. He said that this is one guy that is one of the scariest supporter players in the entirety of the tournament. Now matching up on an on-form Hamas. Bottom lane is going to be extremely exciting, and the rapid pace of the bans come right in. A lot of high priority on Renekton, Camille, as well as Senna. Meanwhile, no global presence come from Ziggs, Galio, as well as the Olaf. Immediately, Team Secret, they secured themselves that Gragas, and they gave over that fight to one team.
Yeah, but in exchange of the Riven as well, was wondering if it's going to be a Riven into the Vi for red side, but it is going to be a different story. Team Secret, we still don't know if that Riven is towards Azar or Trevor, meaning we get to see them adjust. We could see Akali back again for Azar perhaps, maybe against the matchup for Darius. Possibly the Riven would be better because of the shields that it provides, basically mitigate the DOTs. From the stacks rather of this Darius. But look at this though. I love the response from one team. Let's take the Braum alongside with the Varus to remove remove the potential Braum Kaisa in the bottom lane.
Oh, you love to see it. It's the Diana coming right in. You saw Tatsuri on the upper bracket rounds. He's been able to just demolish anybody he sets his eyes upon. And look what we have. A Nunu to pair alongside with. Now, this is going to get a lot interesting because Team Secret, they can skirmish, they can also team fight. But one team, they bring back what they are known for. Ninja 7 on that Corki, or you could still send it to Baya.
Yeah, this is such a huge throwback to the Summer Super Cup. One team spam double 80 carry in the Summer Super Cup playoffs, and looks like they're bringing it back. I'm so excited to see this transform during the Sea Champs in the current fall season. And again, this is the composition as well that they used in the grand finals versus EVOS eSports. So this is pretty hype.
It is.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, let's look into how each team wants to play. One team, eSports, really want to scale through the roof, heading into the late game, and they're just gonna troll every element they can to take anybody out of Team Secret. Riku, Team Secret, how do they win this?
Yeah, this is going to be very tricky for sure, because Azar, again, they want to make sure that he's able to win his matchup up against Kid, and as well as, you know, Tatsuri just going to be doing Tatsuri things, being able to dive and set up with that big moonfall, and the Nunu and as well as Hamas, Trevor and Hamas rather, will serve as the chunky front line for Team Secret to make sure that Chewie shines on the Kaisa.
Well, here we go. Game 1 of our final series of the day. Team Secret versus one team. Casters, take us into the Rift.
We certainly shall, Mika. Thank you very much. It's myself, Skimmy, and I'm joined by Omer again because you just cannot get enough of us too. We are here to send you into the night and also send one of these teams home.
Yeah, that's the sad part, right? The good part is us here chilling, watching some good Wild Rift gameplay and sending you guys off to bed with some sweet dreams. The sad thing is one of these teams, they're gonna have nightmares for a while because this is the end of their tournament.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really want to find themselves in that position, especially Team Secret, who took it to a Game 5 up against the tournament favourites, hoping that they can, you know, get off to a good start here and not feel the burnout of these very long days.
Yeah, and that's the thing we have to consider, right? One team, I think they have a better strength of schedule because they played a little bit earlier last night and they have a bit more time to rest and recuperate before their games here today. Of course, Team Secret, they played a banger best of 5 earlier today up against the tournament favorites in SBTC, and I gotta be honest with you, Team Secret, they looked really good, and the man on your screen right now, Azar, he was a big part of that success. I'm glad to see him stepping up big time when his team needs him, and he's gonna need to step up big against Kid here today if Team Secret want to take the win.
Certainly, and especially when you deny away that Riven, which was let through, which had a surprise because we have seen one really veer towards this Riven by time and time again. Sometimes even coupling with the Fresh allows them to act like madmen and just get out for free. You know, they've already got the escape plan, you know, way in advance. Oh, Treble.
A bit of a letdown.
It's a car crash. The car's been written off and the gang's gone sideways.
Indeed it has. And with that, both junglers, I do believe this will just be a vertical path from them. But it looks like Xianyo, he doesn't want to allow that to happen. He's going to race back to his blue buff. But Trapper, the question is, with Consume, with Smite, will he be too quick here?
Yeah, good question. They are going to both look at each other and say, what are you doing in my swamp? And Treble decides that I maybe just need to walk away from this one. But actually, I'm just joking. It's a battle of the sweepers. We're looking for vision, and I'm looking for your buff. I won't get it, but maybe that doesn't matter because I brought the whole crew to party. We're dancing, we're having fun. It's only 2 minutes in. But nobody will fall down for first blood just yet.
But still, good trade for Team Secret. They get the blue buff. That's a bit of a consolation prize. But Ninja 7 is forced to expand both of his Psalms. That's the big thing here for Team Secret. Losing that means that Ninja, he's going to have a hard time. When Hamas hits level 5, he's going to be able to flash Body Slam, Cask. And a lot of the burden will come down to Siu to really deny that combo. Azar trading so aggressively.
Yeah, be really keen, right, to try and prove a point in this series that, I'm going to play the Riven. I'm going to, assert the dominance. I'm going to be the lion in this den, and, I'm going to bully you. But, it's not without Kid. Having a bit of fun in his own. He is getting pretty dangerously low with these bleed stacks. And rightfully so, has to expend that last charge just to run away.
And that was a great hook there from Kid. He cancels out the third jump from Azar, but with that trapper.
We're drifting, we're rocking up, and we're walking away. Okay, bit anticlimactic, but now we're going to drag back in too, and here comes Devi. Assault and battery, and he has been assaulted because that's a double kill.
I love to see it. Kid sets up so well. He knows Xianyo is coming. He knows he has to heal from his first skill. He has the barrier. He can't sustain for such a long time. With that dunks Azar, dunks Trevor. Great start from him, and look at that. Dead man's plate already. 3 minutes in. This man has a completed item. He won't even need to recall before the 4-minute objective spawn timings. That's the big thing right now. He's going to be able to just push the wave and rotate straight away, which is going to give one team such a good setup for the next fight. Baya, he needs to recall, get his package, and I feel like one team, they're going to be very happy with taking the next fight.
And we were so curious, weren't we, about this draft? The fact that they lay down the gauntlet and say, you know what, we're just going to play double marksman. What are you going to do about it? We got the Varus for the early game, the Cookie for the late. You need to punish us, because if we get a lead, we will just pump out far more damage than you can handle. So a bit of a volatile situation at the top side where they, they take that gamble, and ultimately Kid comes out and says, cheers for the blue buff, but most certainly cheers for the double, because as you say, he has the items, and they might look to try and contest everything.
Yeah, that's huge right now, because Trevor, he wants to start things off here. He has the ability to smart bike it with Consume, but Kid is so strong.
Oh, he's being caught from the rest of his team, however. He's running away, but no one there to protect him. The explosive cast goes out, has to expend that flash, buying time for the Honey Fruit to come back to this fight with at least 50% HP. The rest of his team went in a position to really back him up. Now the absolute zero instantly cancelled and the package laid down. That is the red carpet. We're not at the Oscars, but we might as well be, because pick up the trophy. One team have crushed that team fight.
One team indeed. They're going to pick up the Herald. They're going to pick up a kill on Trevor, and they are going to pick up Inferno Dragon as well. Look at Kid, this man in the front line leading the charge. Has the dead man's plate. He's going to be a beast at this game. 1,500 gold up on his counterpart Azar already. He picked up the last kill there with a dunk as well. But this might be a good play here from Team Secret. I like this rotation. Try to raise them on the cross map. You're never going to beat them at the play at the Dragon, so you have to try to find something somewhere else on the map. And this is really good from Team Secret. They force one team to expand the Herald, but they still get the first turret. Very good answer here.
Yeah, it's always a good sign of a good team, right? What is their trade back? What are their identifications of what can we do given the current circumstances, right? So they get the first turret, as you quite rightly mentioned. One team will respond in similar fashion in a cross-map play to take down the bot tier 1, 2. So ultimately it is still one team with a gold lead, rightfully so. But it's not without TS giving themselves a few answers of their own.
Yeah, I love that goal lead is on Kid, so this man is going to be a bit of a force to be reckoned with here. He's not going to have a turret to fall back on if he gets collapsed on, so I'm quite curious to see what the lane assignments are going to look like from one team right now. There we go, it's looking like they want to give Kid a bit of safety. He has no escapes on this Darius, so if you ever try to push a neutral wave or beyond, it's very likely that you just get ganked by the snowball and you need to outplay in a 1v2, in a 1v3. So good assignments here to leave him in a safer lane, and you can just have Baya rotate up, catch the waves when it's crashing into your tier 2, give him access to the safe farm while Kid pressures a safer side of the map. Things are looking really good across the board from one team right now, and I like what we're seeing, because keep in mind, they do have the cocky. I'm very critical of this champion, but when he gets to the late game, he's still the same old cocky.
Yeah, he gets a little bit cocky, right? He definitely gets a little bit keen for his boots.
We saw that earlier
20
today.
minutes, boys. We've seen it too many times, and sometimes you have to wonder, how has this happened? How have we found ourselves in a position where a champion can accelerate to a potential one-shot position?
Look at the
Interesting
map.
note, also to follow up to your point from before about the fact that Kid does go to that lane, allows him just to continue his lane dominance into his Zard. There's another snowball. Thank you for just panning away. We don't need to see that one. The hero gets summoned. There isn't a dragon to contest, so they're not really going to get much from this. In fact, nothing at all.
But that's fine, because one team, they're gonna get the top turret. That was just a distraction.
Okay.
That Herald served two functions. You saw the entire Team Secret roster just make a 180, turn around and go back to mid lane the moment the Herald dropped. But I really like the calls of Team Secret. They are slower on the play, but they commit more resources to try the trade. You will still lose out, but you need to be doing things like this to trade back when you're playing from behind. I think very good calls from Team Secret this game. But if one team, they pick this up, that's gonna be huge.
Wow. Very creative call. Quite rightly, you should say. I mean, I missed it originally. The hero getting summoned. I'm thinking, oh, you know, that's a little bit too head. It's been missed. What's it really achieving? But they've just sieged a turret and a half, and they're exposing lanes as if they're playing a Fiora. I mean, they're not playing a split-pushing comp traditionally, but they've certainly achieved so much of this map.
And you kind of have to wonder if one team and Flash Wolves have been scrimming, because this is a very similar strategy to what we saw from Flash Wolves earlier as well. They always send Bruce and Cookie together, and it's working so very well for them. Mid jungle, push lanes in tandem. You are such a strong force. You push towers so fast. That's exactly what we're seeing from Baya and Cienio as well. The exact same strategy coming out of both of our Taiwanese teams here bodes well for them, because earlier today, Flash Wolves looked so very good.
Yeah, they looked really clean and clinical as well. They had a clear game plan in mind. This is what we're going to be looking to try and achieve. The gold was distributed in all the right places, and their team fighting was probably the sharpest we've seen all tournament long. So curious to see really what one team can do. And I guess it goes back to that original question, which was match fitness. Both these teams so far, they've had these very long days. What does it really mean ultimately? Because we've seen a lot of teams, as this Nunu has risen more and more into the tournament, a lot more answers are being thrown its way, right? The original snowball, still going to be a little bit difficult to try and interrupt, but the ability to prevent it from, you know, just dominating the jungle has been a treat to watch.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing out of one team as well, right? The snowball is going to be scary, but you have Kaki who can easily get away from a Nunu. You have Varus who's going to be very well protected by the triple frontline of Zenio, Kid, as well as you. He's going to feel so safe. And Trevor, I know this pick was so high priority in the NBR series, but you have to consider that you are facing off against a different beast now. One team is a team who's not afraid to play aggressively and up in your face with these counter ganks, which is exactly what we saw this game. So the Nunu pick has been kind of getting punished here from Trevor, and I can't help but feel like they might need to lower their priority on it.
Guess the question is, though, what comes out instead if Trevor was to try and showcase it? Because he has said, I can play carries. You know, if you need me to be a carry, I can fulfill that role. His Fiora looked incredibly clean. And I wouldn't mind seeing him in one of those performances again. But the game plan so far is still in motion. There's another snowball. And there's another camp to clear, as that's really what he's relegated to, as this Vi does run this map. Oh, there it is. As you say, run and cue, flash forward, lock him in place with the ultimate, dashing away. One more auto! And the concussive blows would have come on through, and Brom would have served his purpose even when he's not there.
So very close.
Oh,
here we go,
and the drag back just misses, but now Hummus says, I've got to try and do something. Splits the team apart with the ulti. And that's it.
Yeah, a bit of botch engages from both of these teams, but I think one team, they're going to be coming out a little bit more on top of that one. They get the inside track on the mid wave. They have to poke from the Varus. They have to poke from the Kaki. Keep in mind, they have double marksman, but what they really have is double poke with the Kaki rockets, with the Varus spears as well. That's something that Team Secret have to be so careful of, because at the end of the day, they are a very short range comp. They rely on finding angles to engage, and Ninja finds it out.
Oh. Look at that angle. Baya untouched, jumps in with the Valkyrie, says nice absolute zero. You're doing zero in this team fight because you're gone. Nice jungler down for 27 seconds. The positioning out of this world, and it all started with a phenomenal chain of corruption from Ninja 7.
Ninja 7 and Baya, they were so on the same page. They were so in sync. One team, they're looking at the Baron as well. Look at how fast they shredded with the Vi percentage health damage, with the Kaki DPS. They picked that one up for free. Nothing Team Secret can do. And one team, they look so coordinated. Look at the positioning. Look at the setup of that team fight. They knew that the side of Team Secret had to face check the Baron. When that happened, Baya was ready over the wall. Ninja was ready with the chains of corruption. They collapsed on them, get the Baron, get the kill. 4,000 gold lead, and one team, once again, firmly in the driver's seat.
And it does feel like we're watching that previous series again, because we have a very much more macro-oriented style of play. 12 minutes fast approaching, only 4 kills.
And you know what I think, right, Skimmy? We might actually be seeing the Taiwan Finals rematch here in the loser bracket semifinals. One team, they look so good, and this Nunu is so ineffective. Huge
So
cost.
he's going to try again and try as he might. He gets exhausted this time as the Absolute Zero gets a little bit more uptime, but now they're fighting time to shine and pop off. Azar jumps on through and finds the Braum. They found the bottom lane of one team. They are gone, but Azar's at the fight. Kid swings the axe and drops down the guillotine as if he's Kobe. Bringing the pain, bringing the punishment, and having so much fun in game one.
And that was a great start to the fight from Hamas. He found a multi-man cast onto the back line of one team. But like we said, Corki is not afraid of being displaced. He has the Valkyrie. It's Ninja 7 that dies at the start of the fight. But what matters? He got his Chains of Corruption down. That's all that matters. If you die and you poke beforehand, you get your ulti down and then die, I think you're happy as your Varus because your DPS is coming from Bayer. Your DPS is coming from Kid with the bleed stacks. And at the end of the day, Team Secret, they found a miracle team fight. Tatsuri as well on the back line with a multi-man Moonfall, but one team, they just come up on top. They know that the damage is coming from the right sources who are still alive, and nothing Team Secret could do.
I suppose really more so than anything, Team Secret are hoping that Trevor will become such a nuisance that he will be the engage, he will be the focus, but the Aftershock is enough durability for him to buy enough time for us to see them pretty much run it back with that exact same play. Azar, Tatsuri jumping in, hitting multiple members with CC and saying, you've got damage, you've got range, but if we can get on you, even for just a second, we can still shred you.
We can indeed, and one team you have to keep in mind as well that this Corki damage is only gonna get more ridiculous as the game goes on. This might be an attempt at a cross map, but I think Kid is more than well aware of this. He knows his job on this Darius. He feels there's no need to risk this, and Bayer, he's gonna trade back on the bot side.
It's what you love to see, right? When a play is happening on one side of the map, you don't need to contest. He doesn't let his ego get the best of him and go for the 1v4. Now they're trying to buy some time here in top Tribush, but it's a trap! You've been called out! Where are you, James? Because your team have left you to dead. You've fallen on down. And Bayer might just get caught as well. Forget it, we don't need to see it. Let's just pretend we know what's going on. Look up on side, what is happening? Bayer's dead, he's gone. Don't show us because it's a crime.
It is indeed. And Skimmy, like you said, when your team is making a play on the other side of the map, you don't need to do anything. Kid got the memo, but Bayer clearly didn't. His team rotated back up topside to punish the overcommitment, and Bayer overstayed. He took the tier 2, and he got a bit greedy there. He wanted to go for the tier 3. He chunked that down to half HP, but will pay with his life.
Well, we have seen, moments of madness where Camille's and Fura say, you know what, I've had enough of playing competitive. I'm going back to solo queue. I will be sending it. And maybe Bayer read the memo and said, I'm a Corki. It's 15 minutes in. I'm feeling pretty good about my chances in this game. I've got a few items under my belt. Maybe I'll split push. Maybe I'll try and open up a very early inhibitor. He did drop it down to roughly, what, 50, 60% from that minimap. So they certainly put a bit, a bit of a thorn in their backside towards that base. Yeah,
it's gonna be very scary for the side of Team Secret. But look at this. I feel like, one team, they're not gonna go for it. There was a play they could have gone for there with the Vi going over the wall with a first skill and the Corki Valkyrie as well. They could have tried to sneak the Baron, which is something that Team Secret, they wouldn't be aware of, right? Because they have the Scuttle Crab. They won't expect anyone to be in the pit. But one team, they're going to play it safe. They know there's no need to flip the game right now. They're just going to back off, push the waves, and try again later.
I guess that is the concern, though, because whilst we talk about one team having phenomenal siege, they can shred down that Baron, as we've already seen evidence so far this game. They are concerned of that Scuttle Crab, right? The only real way to get into that pit would be through a jump or a blast cone or some idea to try and circumvent it, so they don't really take that risk. No need to is where they feel it in this game. 3 Dragons, 6k lead, and the Elder soon to play for. A side lane in the bottom that has been responded to after that phenomenal sieging attempt for a cheeky early inhibitor, but they're quite content.
Yeah, a little bit late on the rotation kit from Kid here, but he's gonna be fine. He's gonna walk over, collect the wave, and yeah, I completely agree, right? The main thing is, okay, that's why Braum counters Gragas. He's just gonna block your cask every single time. Oh, here we go with Tatsuri.
Oh, that's a huge move for. If only he can find a little bit more time. He's gone golden straight away. He's going to come out this one and meet himself a stun. A 2-man snowball. A lock in place and exhaust that might be enough. He's going to get a full channel off. It's a tank Nunu that gets himself a double kill. And Team Secret, when the writing is on the wall, that they've been outplayed, when they're down 7k gold, they pull up a miracle.
Team Secret, indeed, they pull off a miracle. And do you know what I see, Skimmy? That's gonna be game 1 for Team Secret. They're marching on the base.
Down for 30 seconds. It's only Zunyo and a Dream at this stage. 1v5. Can Navai do it? Short answer, probably not, but he's going to have to try. He's going to jump on through. He's trying to make a hero's play. He has to try and trim the wave, but the wave is still there. The members are still tanky, and the Nexus is going to fall on down. In the biggest upset of a Game 1 momentum shift, Team Secret take Game 1.
And there's nothing else you can say except that one team true. There was a...
The biggest thing in this certain match in particular, it's a BO3. I think it's crazy that we had to say goodbye to EVOS, the Summer Super Cup champions, and today possibly we get to say goodbye to the first runner-up as well from the Summer Super Cup. It is a possibility because it's already match point for Team Secret.
Just like John Mayer always say, it's a heartbreak warfare, and when we go into the draft here, we're already seeing some really significant bans, and Team Secret already taking out majority of all these tank as well as bruisers out of the list. So that allows one team to secure the Ziggs at the get-go. But this time around, it's a little bit of a trade when they do have the Vi now secured for Trevor.
This is such a huge priority over the Vi. I mean, there has been a couple of top laners that could potentially be prioritized, like the Darius perhaps, to give to Azar that has been one of his best picks, even coming from the Summer Super Cup, even during the summer season in general. And now one team can be forced to play something else, possibly maybe a kid on the Fiora for that late game scale-in 4-1 split push, which will coincide very well when it comes to the late game now that they've locked in the Ziggs. But instead, it is going to be the Galio, which is, I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not Tatsuri will go back to the Diana, just because, again, Kira's entrance into Moonfall, or perhaps maybe Trevor, Assault and Battery, and then you get the hero's entrance.
You have a lot of options available on the table here. Team Secret can still go for what you've just mentioned, but now I'm looking into this Senna here, which could still go into support, and most likely Ninja 7 might just be the one going in for this pick. Now, to pair up with the Senna is going to be pretty important. They don't have the Gragas, so what exactly should they be going for in order to not only sustain the lane, but get some great trading being done, on top of offering huge amount of damage? But Team Secret, they have been thinking about this Fiora. Now, I really do wonder how would this actually fare against Kid, who's going to be playing on that Darius once again.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Whether or not we get to see a Galio towards Tetsuri, or will James play something else, something like a Braum that will help Kai'Sa survive the 2v2 lane, especially if this Senna, as you mentioned, could be paired with the Ziggs, or maybe we get to see another tank come in. We haven't seen the Nasus, we haven't seen the Singed being paired up anytime soon, and I just literally spoke too soon. Welcome back, Nasus Senna bot lane.
We have to wait till the lower brackets here to be able to see this dark technology that we've been raving about introduced in some other region before this, and it has been made popular. Now, let's talk about this Nasus pick here, because he's not going to be the one to go full AD at first. He's just going to max out the Spirit Fire, chunk out, get this lane to be dominating over the bottom side, and maybe this might overwhelm Team Secret.
Yeah, that's the thing about Senna lanes, Senna Nasus lanes, or in general, Senna versus and Singe lanes, right? It's basically having to neutralize the lane, therefore you can't exactly do anything because of poke, because of how tanky the Nasus is going to be, and the fact that it's a Kai'Sa and a Kai'Sa Nami lane, and therefore, again, hoping to just farm and chill out. And basically, the usual counters to a Senna Nasus lane is just aggression, possibly even dives, because again, the infinite scaling is going to be incredibly terrible for Team Secret, so of course they want to stop that before anything happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be really painful for Team Secret if they can't get that one up. But here we are. This could be match point. This could be the series for Team Secret, or one team could come back indeed. My Pinoy pride is really willing to go head on into this. I've had my dinner. I've had sisig. So casters, over to you guys.
That's it!
Thank you very much there, Mika. Yes, indeed, we have ourselves a cheeky Nasus pick coming out for the first time across 3 weeks of competition. When I say where on earth is it? We've had variations, we've had Malphites, we've had Gallios, we've had it all. but the Nasus is back to play.
Yeah, Big Dog is here, and I do like that one team, they opted to drop it all the way to 4-5, because this Nasus pick is not without counters, he's not without his own flaws, and one team, by dropping it so late in the draft before picking it, they find a very good spot for it. And look at what we're seeing on your screen right now, Skimmy. It's gonna be, I nearly say gaminism there, I'm too used to it, too used to casting with Big G. But
It's the ultimate compliment.
That is true, that is true. But look at this, it's gonna be a lane swap, but one team, they're aware that Team Secret have swapped their lane swap, so they're gonna for a lane swap again. It's a double lane swap.
Oh, well, it's just a case of 2D chess becoming 4D checkers. Who can get the better lane swap and who can get the most uptime to actually hit some minions, actually push some waves, because so far it looks like we are defaulting back.
Okay.
The bait and switch has been completed. And top lane now becomes bot.
Top lane now becomes bot indeed, and I think Team Secret, they're gonna be very happy with this one. They're gonna want the Nami matchup into the Senna Nasus. It's not the best lane, but it's also one where you can free scale and you can use the range advantage of the Nami to really just keep poking down this Nasus. Like I said, he's not without his flaws. He relies on his passive to hit creeps, to lifesteal. A ranged champ like Nami can do really well into that, and that's why you see Hamas pull out this pick, which is really not his style. He's been favoring these engages. He's been favoring being the shot caller, the one that pulls the trigger for his team, but he recognizes that this is a great matchup that he needs to take.
Yeah, it was a huge pivot, very uncharacteristic pivot from him across what has been his style of this tournament, but fit to the point. You know, you buff up the Kaiser, and the Kaiser can get aggro and not really feel the burden of being traded out in these early portions of the game. So they're going to be AFK on an island, just farming up that siphoning strike and saying, just you wait, give me a few minutes, I'll rock up with a wither, and you won't be laughing much more.
Exactly, and something you gotta keep in mind as well, when you play Senna Nessus, you are scaling forever. The scaling does not stop. You have the stacks on both Senna's passive as well as Nasus Q, and they're just gonna be happy hitting creeps, farming up, scaling until they hit a point of no return. Now the question for Team Secret is, on the other side of the map, can Azar's Fiora be the be-all end-all for the team comp basically? Because if you want to play a dive like the rest of Team Secret's comp is, you want to dive into one team, it's gonna be a tall order. Like you mentioned, the Widow is gonna be so impactful onto Chewy. You have a bunch of zone control with Ziggs, with Nasus. It's going to be so difficult for them to really start team fights that it really has to come down to Azar finding angles to end the game on sides.
He's pretty good at finding those angles though, because
Yes.
we did see him jump into a Baron pit and just snag away a quad on, 10 HP?
He can definitely find ways to end the game. He can find ways to, you know, just really push into the base and end it all. But the problem is, Kid has been playing pretty well today. Barring the misplay at the end of last game's team fight, I feel like Kid is someone who can definitely stem the tide, stem the bleeding in the side lanes.
Yeah, and what a time to have that mistake, right? When you're
Yeah.
playing so flawlessly throughout the entire game and then realizing, oh wait, down for 30 seconds, not the best time to make a blunder. But they've had a chance to reset and hopefully coming with some brand new ideas for Game 2, where Team Secret have said, we know that this Vi is a high priority, we'll remove that one. Jeonyo now onto that Lee Sin. And they've dropped something a little bit creative here to try and get themselves back into the fold of things. So we're going to continue our perspective of Kid battling up the Azar. That's a nice little riposte to try and win out that trade, which he does so. And see if this Lee Sin's here to play.
Yeah, I don't think they'll want to go for a dive here. That's gonna be very sketchy indeed, but it seems like Xianyo and Kid, they want this.
Yeah, but look at the read that Azar
Yeah.
has, right? He realizes that Kid's playing a lot more
Ooh,
aggressively now
Spidey
towards his wave, trying to
senses.
push it in to enable that, and he just goes, this does not seem characteristic. You just lost that trade heavily. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, really good Spidey senses from Azar that recognizes that my jungler is at the other side of the map. I cannot be playing too aggressively here. This is their timing to kill me. So really good read from Azar. We have to say though, he's been playing phenomenally here today. In his series against SBTC, he was basically the one that won numerous games with Team Secret, and he kept them holding on really when their team was falling so far behind. Now Team Secret, can they do it here again today? Can Azar do it in their what could be their final match of the day?
Yeah, I mean, what a benchmark to set, right? To flesh out your resume up against one of the world's very best teams and say, you know what, I held my own. Actually, I'll go one step further. I outperformed. I did my job. And I made it as competitive as it really was, going all the distance to that game 5. Now, 4 minutes 40 into this one, the Dragon has been ignored again. Big preference towards this Herald, to be expected, especially when you've got a Ziggs in your composition. But that's not about Team Secret starting things off. It's down to smite range. That's gone. But
Wither.
one team still want the fight. There's the Wither onto a key target.
Look at mid lane
Azar
though,
will copper
Skimmy.
roots, and he's just gone. So they're just going to push mid wave, instant summon their Heralds. And that turret, when it's low, one Satchel charge and it's gone.
Yeah, one Satchel charge away from dropping. Oh, not quite. I think it's like 50 to 60 HP off. I did a bit of math on this, but I do not remember numbers, so I'm gonna have to think back to that another time. And like I said, that's my favorite part about Kai'Sa. When you have the wards in mid lane, you're just gonna be canceling recalls all day. That's exactly what Chewie does here, and I think he's gonna be happy to really just extend the laning phase here as long as he can.
So it can be. I think it's like, what, 25% or so on those turrets. It's something around that area. It's lethal. It's critical. It's low. You know, that's what we're going to say. And that's all we need to know, because it will fall on down eventually, but not just
Soon
yet.
enough.
So, you know what the real painful moment of this, though, will be? Is we don't have a soul tracker or a stack counter. We don't really know exactly how strong this Senna or Nasus is. The only real true gauge we have is, you know, one day they're going to rock up, hit him with one strike and said, oh, did you feel that? Have you woken up? Do you have a headache now?
We won't be able to see the exact numbers, but we'll know when we see it. That's the best part of this. You don't really know until you know. We can guesstimate, that is true. I want to see what one team want to do right now, though, because I do have to point out that while the Senna Nessus are going to be scaling really well in this game, they don't have a true source of AD damage. They don't have a true source of, you know, like consistent DPS unless Senna gets hyper scaled into the late game. So we're talking like 15-20 minutes in game before the Senna really takes over and becomes that late game AD damage threat. So the problem is Xianyo and Kid, they're going to really need to be doing a lot in these early mid game team fights.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, a big onus on them to try and get the ball rolling like they did before, right? Kid got that crazy double kill to start things off and never really dropped the ball from that point onwards, apart from that last play. Look, we've said it a few times now, unlucky Kid. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
It does.
But Lee Sin can certainly drive that tempo as well, right? Has the Yomus. And might realize that I've been assault and batteried onto walls. There's a tidal wave to follow things up. There's a Hero's Edge.
Oh, huge.
Oh, a triple root from the center! And the Mega Inferno Bomb to follow things up. And that is just a tidal switch that says we will win this team fight. We've only taken one. They should have taken more. And they'll have to settle for the second prize, which is a turret.
Skimmy, that's a heartbreaker there for Kid because his ultimate got cancelled. Chewie died before he could dunk him, and his ult went on CDE. Look at how low the members of Team Secret were right there. If he got the reset, he might have just popped off that fight.
I think he could have. We have seen so many moments like this where teams really get away when it shouldn't be possible. But credit where credit is due. Happy days for them, and they'll be breathing a big sigh of relief.
Indeed, and Team Secret, they are not exactly super far behind, just 2,000 gold behind, but the big thing we would need to be paying attention to is Azar's gold gap is growing. 7,000 gold now, or rather 700 gold behind Kid. It's not really the best spot to be in, but if Kid keeps finding these kills, keeps finding these turrets, he's going to be very happy facing off against the Fiora in the side lane. He won't be able to kill her, but Fiora won't be able to push, and that means that the rest of one team's team composition is going to be very happy with a stalemate in the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily designed to, you know, win out that matchup. More so a goalkeeper. You're just holding them at bay and saying you can't score that goal, and the goal being sieging and backdooring our base. So as long as he's, you know, tanky and strong enough to hold his own, allow the rest of the team to play to their win condition, then they'll call it even.
That's the best way I've ever heard it put, Skimmy. Props to you for that one. I always say, you know, play it stable, play a weak side, do your job, hold the turret, but goalkeeper just surmises all that out.
I think everyone can relate, right? We talk about eSports, but, you know, we can bring it back to the OG days, the boomer days of traditional sport once in a while.
Indeed, and with that said, you got to keep in mind as well, the Team Secret, this is far from a boomer team. They are as close as you can get to a Zoomer team. They're all young, they're all talented. We need to see the mechanics of them in this game because a lot of their team composition is going to be reliant on the big pop-offs from Azar, from Chewie, and they need to pull that out here.
Yeah, young and hungry for success, as we've already seen so far. And they are going to work their way towards their very first turret of the game, much to assistance there of Tatsuri bodyguarding and protecting. But it does mean they have to sacrifice some pressure on the map, which results in the second dragon going the way of one team.
Not the end of the world yet for either one of these teams. Still a pretty slow game. Quite the stalemate we have going on right now. One team, they want to contest, but they don't want to commit too hard to the contest because their team comp wants to play in lanes. They don't want to get caught in the jungle. They don't want to get caught in the river. Stay within your lane. Stay within your zones. You're going to be generally safe. Let TS dive into you. They'll have to dive through so much zone control. Now Azar's in trouble.
Well, he is, as a four-man collapse is about to go on through. There's a nice knockback. The riposte buys time, but time is not enough when an axe comes crashing on down. And the Baron has spawned. Now, here's an interesting discussion. Do they rush the Baron, given that Team Secret is still sieging?
Team Secret are still down here. Surely you have to be aware of it at this point. If one team are not touching the top turret, you know what they're doing. You see them on the scuttle crab vision. It's going to be so slow, though, because like we mentioned, one team don't have that AD DPS. They have to back off.
They're all in. No,
finish the Baron,
went out, and now they have to try and turn things around. Oh, no, Team Secret. Are they going to contest? Are they going to steal? Are they going to claim this as their own? Thanks for the leash. The fight breaks out. The Baron is still there. But the Dawning Shadow comes on through. Look at Lee Sin. Sonic Wave is prepped and ready. The fire's gone, and the smite comes through, and one team are grateful that the flip goes their way. Now can they back away? Can they hold on to these buffs? Kids, look at his HP. Oh, no.
What is this team fight, Skimmy? I don't really know what we could talk about because like 600 things just happened in the span of 5 seconds. We are definitely going to want to see a replay of that fight. It was pretty nuts from start to finish. Right now, Baya not even going for the wave, just wants to hit Chewy, tells him you have to back away. And let's try to take stock of what happened in this team fight. Look at how low the Baron dropped, and then objective change here from Team Secret. Tatsuri wants to finish, but Trevor was too far out. He got caught by the Widow. With that said, Tatsuri as well, he tried to save his jungler, but Baron knocked him up. MVP Baron leashed this entire time. Cienio sneaks around the back, finds an angle, steals the Baron, which was theirs to begin with. And one team, they might not win the fight, but they trade evenly and they get the Baron, which I think they're going to be so happy with because Fiora hates playing into Baron buff.
He just got no scope there.
Oh, he did.
And goes the missile and bang, thanks for the kill. That's another Baron buff removed. That was crazy.
It was.
That went the distance. That had it all. They were fighting on Baron with vision against them, saying, you know exactly where we are. Come find us.
Yeah, we don't care. We're going to challenge you here. And at the end of the day, Cienio was the one who did pick up the Baron. And when we talk about the flaws of Vi, we saw it right there in action. When she goes in, she cannot come out. You have to rely on Tatsuri to save her. But Brother Baron, MVP Baron, knocks up the Helio, stops that all from happening. Trevor gets taken down and Cienio steals away his own Baron. It's great stuff. It's not the cleanest gameplay, but it's so fun to watch.
Here, the Baron really acting as the sixth member on their team here. They've been perhaps paid off, you know, playing on their turf, saying that you're not allowed here. And we are going to grant those that start things off here first, the buff ultimately. And actually putting a fair bit of work in with this Baron buff. 3 times to 2 so far. Not the biggest lead to ride home about, but it's the fact of look at these side lanes. Look at top, look at bot.
What is this?
And now they're fighting mids. This is beautiful. Zhanyo jumps on through, goes golden, baits out all the time. Nice bubble, doesn't really mean much. As the Dawning Shadow comes on through to deter any form of aggression. And the side lane still putting in work.
I can't help but feel like this might be a bit too aggressive there from Cienio. He tries to kick Azar back into his team, but like we mentioned, Zuma team, they have the mechanics. He repulsed the kick and he's gonna be fine, but that means that the play is over for the side of one team because they invested too many resources. They should just slow down, take a breather, poke out Team Secret within the lanes, and they should be a-okay. With that said though, Dragon's gonna get started out. Our one team gonna make it in time.
But I don't know if they need to meditate Team Secret, if they want to try and, you know, take some breathing lessons and calm down because they need to go full tempo. Match point is what they're on right now. And a gold lead far shorter than what they've experienced so far as Trevor secures their second dragon. He might fall down for this one, knows the whip, the flash. And the drag back to say, where on earth are you going? You're going to fall on down. It's just another day in the life of a jungler.
It is, right? He secures it with his smite, but he pays for it with his life. 30 seconds on Trevor, but 10 seconds on Dragon means that one team, they want to rush this. They're happy losing the Dragon if it means they pick up the Baron. There is a ward on it, and I think Team Secret, they will want to contest. But can they take this fight in a 4v5?
One team will be feeling pretty confident about their chances, given, as you say, that there is no smite. So they're going to start things off. Trevor has just picked up the teleport, so he's keen. It's all about the rest of his team now buying time to find it. Can they do that?
He's going to make it for sure. There's 10 seconds to go. Team Secret, they're going to keep poking, and I think Blast going in. There we go.
Bubble goes up. Tatsuri looking for a big knock-up. There's the tidal wave getting closer and closer to that Baron range. There goes the explosive mega cast. What a damage there.
He did get it again.
Managed to steal it. No, Baya secures it. It's not even a jungle secure. The mid laner gets it. As the Clear Instinct comes on through and Chewy tries to be the hero, trying to remove all these Baron buffs. He's taking out 2. The top side collapsed. I don't know if they'll find much more, but look at the lane state. It's bounced against them.
He might even get the inhib here. They're gonna need to send Baya over to try to catch this one out, but Azar might look for an all-in. I think he's gotta play it safe though. Okay.
Deary me, this game really does have it all. If you want an emotional lesson, then welcome to the Seed Champs, because you can have the happy days, you can have the sad days, and you can have the tense days where your chest gets a little bit tight because you're quite unsure what you're watching.
Yeah, I had to take a second there to get a breather because I don't really know even what kind of game state we're in. If you ask me right now who's winning this game, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't think.
I mean, the simple answer that Twitch chat will say is, "Oh, just look at the gold lead, Omo. It's dead even."
It's basically.
But it's so much more than that.
Yeah, the turrets are basically even. You're 2 off. The kills are basically even. They're trading 1 to 2 dragons. The kills are 1 or 2 off. Gold is a couple hundred off. It's just such a close game. And if you ask who has the better scaling here, I'll tell you that one team has the better teamfight scaling, but Team Secret have the better scaling on the side lanes. So who really wins this game? I have no clue, and that's what makes it so fun to watch.
It's worth noting, as we do take that breather, that Trevor has gone back to base, sold the TP,
Yes,
and
yes.
reinvested in that Gargoyle stone plate. So he's put himself back a little bit, but the goal was quite heroic, right? It was the right play to try and steal that one.
Oh, here we go.
Right, he's going to break out once again, and that is
Ninja.
Trevor jumping in very aggressively, looking to try and make a play so far. But Ninja dropped in a heartbeat, crashed
man.
down as the Galio destroys him. But another big knock-up. Not going to be much more than that. And 3 members have to walk away again. I mean, Team Secret's target selection has been phenomenal.
It has. It truly has. And Ninja 7 and CU have been getting caught out by playing too aggressive. Team Secret, their teamfight sense is just so good. They know when to go, how to go, where to go, who to go on. They know it all. They do it so well. And that's been paying off huge for them here. I think it's a little bit curious that Team Secret didn't want to push it any further in a 3v5. You saw them hugging the top side, staying away. But who can blame them after we saw Kit and Baya 3v5 them in the last game as well? So wanting to play it safe, they already took a teamfight win. They know they can just do it again. Just rinse and repeat. Every single time one team want to siege on you, if they don't bring enough people, you just pull the trigger and go.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a bit of a concern, right, that as you've mentioned already here, Omo, that Team Secret can play towards those side lanes, but they're winning team fights, and that just feels illegal.
Yeah, it's really crazy that they're winning team fights, but I think that comes down to the fact that one team, they're not allocating their manpower properly. They have people split up across the wrong sides of the map, and you have to consider that Team Secret, their engage is basically instantaneous. One team, they need to be in position. Here we go with the Baya.
Here we certainly do go. It's the Divider jumps in, and the Galio that comes crashing on down. A tidal wave to try and prevent the re-engage and the turnaround. And Tatsuri locks them all in place with a flash taunt and says there's nowhere to run or hide. Siu, the Nasus is dead. He's been farming for 18 minutes. He's going to have to stare at a grey screen now for 46 seconds. Can they find a trade back? They find one. But the dunk goes on the cooldown, and that's it.
But this should be the Elder Dragon here for Kid Skimmy. For the side of Team Secret Skimmy. I've lost track of what's going on in this game. But I feel like Ciennial might try to steal it. It's just that look at where Team Secret are positioned. Hames and Azar, they're not going to let him anywhere close.
2 stacks already of that Drake. Nice 2-man route. Doesn't really mean much rather than
they're
just
sending it. They're
buying time. They're buying space. Ninja's just going to die for his sins. Kicks back the Fiora. The Fiora's taking those 1v1s. This is where a Fiora does shine. Azar is smurfing. Azar is goalkeeping. And he may, in fact, just be gatekeeping one team's chances of advancing through in this series. One by one, they fall on down. The TP comes on through. The Elder Mountain's gone. It's gone. Janyo can't contest. The Ziggs rocks up. The Ziggs falls down for 50 seconds. That looks like game.
I think that's game here, Skimmy. They might want to back off, pick up the Baron as well while they're at it. They don't want to risk destroying the game. They are on match point, series point. This guarantees they move forward another step to go up against Flash Wolves. Now keep in mind here, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. Back in play-ins, Flash Wolves was the team that eliminated the Philippines' #2 seed in Fano Adversity. Team Secret, they want to knock out one team, and if they win this matchup, they go up against Flash Wolves for a chance to avenge their fallen brothers. They don't want to risk throwing the game. They're going to play it by the book. They get the Elder, they get the Baron, and they might get the series win here.
Justice for Fennel Adversity. Indeed. Justice for the full best of fives. Perhaps that is really the narrative we're building right now. It's Filipino pride as they are pridefully winning this game. They are taking members down. And as we said before, they are winning team fights, and it looked like pure desperation there for one team flooding the Drake pit to say, we have to do something.
It was truly desperation. And the last TP in there from Bayer as well, I have nothing to say except full send it, right? There's no way you're calling that with a rational, clear head and say that this is the right play. It's pretty much just one team. We have to full send it. We cannot give this Dragon. We already threw the last game. We are desperate. We need something. We cannot throw this game too. And they just full sent it. Team Secret, amazing team fights from them consistently throughout the series. And I feel like that has been their calling card so far. They might not play the cleanest macro, but they do good trades. They know where to be on the map. It might not be their specialty, but they do it well enough. What they do insanely well, and I think they might be one of the best teams here at it, is team fight. And what I would personally love to see is a series between Team Secret and Boomerang.
We may one day get that. Maybe later on in this tournament, because it's knocking on the front door. The devil is here, and the devil don't play. It's keen. It's taken down one. It's looking for a second. Look at the 4-1 split so far as Fio continues to push down the top side. A two-man wave, and they look to place. They're gone. They're dead. They're out of it. Their chances of a miraculous turnaround in a reverse sweep in such a fragile best-of-3 situation has gone. Team Secret are knocking on that front door. They're taking down an Nexus, and they're taking the series 2-0.
And Team Secret, things look so dire for them at times, in game 1 especially.